Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about a major Arctic invasion that is coming up this weekend. Finally, we do have a big cooldown coming up. It's been almost all winter we've been going without a giant Arctic invasion, but today we are going to be talking about one that does look to happen again by Friday, Saturday, Sunday time frame. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends and family if they live in the impacted regions. Let's get right into things. So this is how things are going to look by the time we're at about Friday. You can see lots of pinks and purples and deep blues. That's going to be very, very cold air, especially there for Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, indicating temperatures that are 12 to 28 degrees below average, which is going to be below zero, well below zero actually. And we will take a look at the actual temperature later on. All right, so let's get started. Here's today. So you can see big difference when we switch from that to today. We can see a lot of oranges and reds and pinks, and that's indicating very warm temperatures comparatively to normal. We do have some little bits of light blue there, Minnesota, the Dakotas, Iowa, Wisconsin, but really we're going to be taking things much colder as we move forward. It's only Tuesday, February 11th today. Let's go ahead and move on towards Wednesday, February 12th, and you can see a big difference if you look up there in Canada. We were seeing some oranges and pinks, but then as we move towards Wednesday, February 12th, we see those very, very cold temperatures, those blues, purples, and even pinks indicating temperatures that are 20 to 28 degrees below average, very, very widespread. And that's only going to dig its way down south into the upper Midwest, through the Central Plains, the Great Lakes, and then eventually to the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast as well. Now we're about to move on to Tuesday, where we're going to see things really begin to enter into the United States and start to impact us with very, very cold Arctic air. As you can see, this is by Thursday at 12Z, which is going to be about 8 a.m. on February 13th, and we can see very warm temperatures for the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast, but then for the upper Midwest there, for the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, Nebraska, we see those purples and pinks, the pinks being 20 to 28 degrees below average, and that's going to be extreme cold air there during the morning time on Thursday, and we're only 2 days away. I waited a very long time to upload this, obviously, because the way things have been going in the past, we've seen these situations show up and then fizzle out. Not this time, though. We're only 2 days away. This one is going to happen. I had to wait till the last minute because the models have been struggling in the medium to long range with these cold air outbreak type events. But sure enough, this one finally made its way through, and we see this very, very cold Arctic air that's going to make its way in. And then let's make our way towards about 2 a.m. on Friday, February 14th, and we see some purples, pinks still there for the Midwest in through Illinois now, Chicago getting involved, Michigan, and even those dark blues are going to be very far below normal. This is Celsius, guys, so we see 4 to 8 degrees below average Celsius in the dark blues. You can see that makes its way all the way down to Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, and Ohio, the New England states as well. You can see it's making its way east. Let's look at those actual temperatures, though, on this same frame by 2 a.m. on February 14th. And you can see for those areas in the Midwest, we see the white colors is where we're at about 10 to 0 degrees. And then as we get into the purple and pink colors there, that's where we're at about negative 10 to negative 20. And then in those pinks, we see maybe negative 20 to 25 degrees there for southern Minnesota. So very, very cold Arctic air. Also New England getting some of that near zero or below zero temperatures there for the northern and interior regions of New England. Now we're about to move on towards Friday in the day, and we're going to see how this cold weather event progresses as the days move forward towards later in the weekend. So right here on this frame, we're looking at 12Z on Friday, which is going to be about 8 a.m. there, Friday, February 14th. And we could still see those pinks all over the place, again, indicating areas that are 12 to 28 degrees below average Celsius there for Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, and then also the Adirondacks, the Green Mountains, and then north of the White Mountains, I would say, in Berlin area, and then the very northern half of Maine there as well, getting those pink colors, indicating well below normal temperatures. And you can see the southeast is trying to hold on to a little bit of warmth, but as we move towards the afternoon hours of Friday, that cold air will finally make its way in, and we see those blues, maybe even some deep blues there for a lot of these areas, indicating the pretty far below normal temperatures, 4 to 8 degrees below average Celsius, which I would say is moderately below average temperatures there. We do see those pinks are kind of dying down by this point. The Arctic air isn't as potent by this point as we reach kind of the mid to late day Friday time frame. Let's move towards that night, though, and we see it's mostly a Great Lakes and New England event. The Dakotas, Nebraska, and Kansas have actually warmed up, and they're above average temperatures by this point. So it's going to be a very short-lived Arctic air outbreak here. And then let's move towards about 8 a.m. on Saturday, February 15th, and we can see New England is actually the furthest below average by this point. We see maybe, I would say, 16 to 20 degrees below average for a lot of the New England states, which is going to be very, very potent cold air, but it's nowhere near the amount of cold we were seeing there for Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, just a couple frames ago. And you can see Minnesota and Iowa have actually warmed up by this point. Now we're about to move on towards February 16th. We're going to make our way towards February 16th. We're going to move on to the nighttime of Saturday heading into Sunday, and we're going to start to see some more Arctic air try to make its way in as we move towards more of the moderate range. As you can see, this is going to be, I would say, about 8 or 9 p.m. on Saturday, February 15th. Did we see those warmer than normal conditions now taking over the Great Lakes regions as well as the south central United States? But we see in the upper Midwest, it's trying to cool down again. We see the East Coast is holding on to a little bit of that cold, but it's certainly not what it used to be. We're only seeing light to maybe medium blues there, indicating only about a degree to maybe 8 degrees below average, which is nowhere near what we were having just in the prior days, on the 14th and 13th. But nevertheless, we do still see the cold hanging around by Saturday night, but there is some warm behind it. Let's move towards the morning of Sunday. This is going to be by about 8 or 9 a.m. on Sunday, February 16th, and we see the Southeast is maybe holding on to a little bit of those blues, but the New England states are in the yellow and oranges by this point, indicating above average temperatures by this point. But we do see those colder than normal conditions for the upper Midwest kind of re-entering by Sunday morning. Let's move towards maybe Monday 2 a.m. and we could see that kind of just becomes a north versus south type deal, where in the south we have warmer than normal conditions, and then in the north we have colder than normal conditions from North Dakota through Minnesota, Wisconsin, especially Michigan there, and then Pennsylvania, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, dealing with maybe, once again, 6 to 12 degrees below average Celsius, which is going to be far below average temperatures. So maybe a little bit more Arctic air entering by February 17th. That's going to be Monday. We're kind of getting into the medium range here, so things are going to get a little bit less accurate. We're a little less confident in this second cooldown than we are in the first one. Obviously, the first one is very, very soon, so we have high confidence in that. But the one that's in the more medium range, confidence is a little bit lower. Now, we're about to move on towards Monday, heading into Tuesday, where we're going to start to see a little bit more of a warm-up once again. All right, so as you can see here by this point, this is going to be by about 9 p.m. on Monday night, February 17th, and we see that warm up there for the central United States. Those reds, pinks, and the pink colors within the red there is indicating, temperatures that are 4 to 12 degrees above average. So we're going to kind of be flip-flopping all over the place, but New England is still in those purples and pinks, indicating far below average temperatures, and then the western United States by this point. But again, this is more of the moderate range, so confidence isn't as high as it is on some of those previous frames I showed before, but still, we do have some pretty moderate confidence at this point that there will be some resemblance to this in the medium range. Now, as we get towards Tuesday night, heading into Wednesday, February 19th, this is when the east warms up once again. Finally, the warm air makes its way back into the eastern United States, and we see the same old, same old. And obviously, again, like I said, this might not come into to be true, because in the medium to long range, this model has been really struggling, or all the models, matter of fact, have been struggling to get the temperature patterns down. It's really the short range where they've had some accurate times, and within 2 days, we are very confident that there will be an Arctic outbreak this weekend, starting Thursday through Friday, Saturday, and then ending kind of Sunday, not being as potent by that point. Let's real quickly take a look at our GEFS, which is our GFS ensemble model, and the reason I'm showing this is because it's very important when you have a model showing a temperature pattern, or anything for that matter. You want to see if it has ensemble support. So here's the GFS ensemble model, and this is a model that just has 30 different members, and it's kind of the mean estimated average of what all of those models are showing, and sure enough, they're in great agreement with the actual GFS model for what's coming up this weekend, and that's a really good sign that we do have some big accuracies coming up on the GFS model. It has that ensemble support, and even the European, which I'm not going to show, does show this cooldown, and it's very, very potent on the European model as well. So confidence is very high that we will have a major Arctic outbreak this weekend. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends and family, and I will see you guys in the next video.